Welcome back, scholars, to our final lesson on Unit 5-1. This is 516, the decline of Mongol rule in China. This will be the last time we talk about the Mongols. No, it won't. Mongols will come up again. But this will be the last time that we talk about them as being in charge in China. So let's see how this one ends. Oh, well, let's first remind ourselves how it all began. It began in 1279. We've got Kublai Khan defeating the Song Chinese. So the Yuan had controlled this whole area with Mongolia, and we remember they conquered the Jin, and they basically controlled most of China, except for the Song down here is still in charge. But 1279, Kublai Khan put an end to the Song. Now, Kublai's goal was to create a strong Chinese empire. It would be a Chinese empire culturally in many ways, but it would be under Mongol rule, that his Yuan dynasty, his Mongol descendants, would be in charge of China. But he needed to make sure that the Chinese would follow his rule. So he accepted a number of most of Chinese culture, and this in turn allowed the Chinese to also accept Kublai and his Yuan dynasty to some degree. Now, Kublai had many successors. He was succeeded by his grandson, this fella here, and then 8 other members of Kublai's family. Now, I'm not going to go through their names because I don't know them all, but I'm sure I could look them up. You could look them up as well. Do so if you wish. I'm not going to. Most of them were poor imitations of Kublai in terms of leadership. Some were adequate, but none really had the flair for leadership or the acceptance from everybody to the degree that Kublai had during his lifetime. Now, some Yuan rulers during this dynasty wanted to appear more Mongol. And this would help them reestablish Mongol authority outside of China. So if they ruled as a Mongol, they might be accepted by these other Mongolian rulers around the world and reunite this great Khanate and rule the entire world. But anytime you did that, you risked not being accepted culturally by the Chinese. So others wanted to reaffirm their control of China by reasserting their Chineseness to better rule that region itself. None were able to effectively do both of these things very well. Now, the Chinese Mongols, Kublai's final successors did finally abandon a lot of those Mongol roots. They did decide to rule as more Chinese and focus on just being another Chinese dynasty that happened to rule a more united, larger, wealthier Chinese empire. This was not a bad thing. It didn't mean that you ruled the entire world, but ruling China by itself was pretty effective. However, events conspired against them. 1350, we started a series of droughts and floods and famines that all struck China. It was a really rough decade for the Chinese. A lot of natural disasters, a lot of serious problems, and the Yuan response to these were not all that effective. They did not manage these as well as they could have. And this led to a lot of discontent, a lot of anger, and that boils over into a rebellion. In 1351, we have the Red Turban Rebellion. The Red Turban Rebellion begins, and it quickly spreads as hungry, disaffected, homeless, embittered people start to look at their government and say, hey, what are you doing for me? Why should I support you? To suppress the rebellion, the emperor gives greater control to local warlords. Basically says we've got too great of a rebellion, too many things going on, too many moving parts. I can't be the one person in charge of all of this. So you regional leaders, you have the authority to do what you need to do to suppress the rebellion in your own territory. What this does is it effectively allows those governors to deal with a lot of those fires that are rising up, but it also weakens centralized control. The Mongol emperor is no longer in this direct control mode of his empire. That is going to bite him. because in 1356, Zhu Yuanzhang, who is a leader within the Red Turban Rebellion, is able to capture the Yuan dynasty's southern capital in the city of Nanjing, which is not on this map. That's an oversight on my part, but is down here. And with control over a major Chinese city, with all the resources that brings, he's able to centralize his own power. He's able to centralize his own control. He is in charge. He's not got this diversified leadership with a whole bunch of people acting independently. He has this independent power base, this independent strength, and can act with unity in a way that the Mongol Empire has already given up. And with this centralized power, he later establishes his own dynasty, the Ming Dynasty, and is able to effectively unite China. It takes a while. In 1381, however, China is effectively united under the Ming. The Yuan dynasty has been pushed out of China. Will be in Mongolia itself for a while still as the Northern Yuan dynasty, but they're no longer going to be a power in China, nor will they be a power globally. That is the end of the Yuan dynasty that is worth talking about, and we will be moving into the Ming next. Thank you very much, and we are all done with this lesson.